Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd put together a little video showing you my scrapbook. This is something I've really been enjoying doing during lockdown, and I think it's a great way to pass the time. So I thought some of you might find it useful to see how I do it if you wanted to start your own. So here is a little overview of how I like to work when I do my scrapbook. So I either listen to music, or today I decided to watch Vampire Diaries on Netflix. So I've just got my laptop in the corner. I have everything laid out in front of me. I already had these photos kind of like placed where I wanted the other day, but I tend to have all my photos spread out. I have my glue, my scissors, I have two bits of paper, and this will become clear in a minute. I basically use one of the bits of paper to glue on the back of the photos, and then I use the other bit of paper to press the photos down rather than using my fingers, because otherwise you get fingerprint marks on them, but you'll be able to see that in a minute. I also have my washi tape. I really like these for borders, and these are from Hobbycraft. All of my craft supplies are from Hobbycraft, so these stickers are so great. They were only £1. I wish I'd got more. And then I also have these, more of like a 3D foamy type sticker, and I think these will be really good for big headings like holidays and stuff. I also got this paper which I haven't used yet, but I just thought that would be really nice to mount some of my photos on, or like if I want to make a page a bit more colourful. And then lastly, I got these metallic pens. I am so impressed with these. These are also from Hobbycraft, and they were really cheap. And also my scrapbook is from Hobbycraft, if any of you were wondering. So I've done a few of the first few pages of the year already. I am basically backtracking all the way to 2017 because I haven't got any photos printed out in so long. So I'm just going to show you the pages that I've done so far, have a little flick through so you can see the kind of way that I lay my pages out. So because I'm backtracking all the way to 2017, I don't have that many like tickets or any different things to put in. But I really wanted to still do 2017. I didn't want that to be missing from my collection. I also like to put little Polaroids in, and I stick these like sellotape along the back so it doesn't cover any of the other photos, if you can see here, just so it doesn't mark any of the photos if I want to take them out later. And this was from my dance show a few years ago. It was so much fun, and I just think scrapbooking is such a nice way to look back on memories. It's a bit more personal than a photo album. I also get all of my photos printed from TruePrint, which is now called Snapfish. That's where I've got all of these photos printed out from, and then I'll just print out other little things. You can see I've printed out the lineup from when I went to the British Summertime Festival, and then on this page when I went to Nottingham we got given a map, and I managed to dig that out and find that, and also a strip from the photo booth that we went to. I also sometimes add a bit of writing if there's something in particular that I want to remember about that particular thing I'm scrapbooking. And then this is from when I went to Florida, and this is as far as I got. So I went to Florida in August, so I don't actually have that many photos, and for the title of Florida I just used those like foam stickers that I showed earlier, and I just think they look really nice on the page and make it really bold and stand out. I've also cut around some of the photos as well if they wouldn't quite fit, because I printed off my photos a bit too big, because I just printed them off all in bulk, so I would definitely print them off a bit smaller next time, I think. And because not all of my photos would fit, I decided to print a few of them off smaller in more of a Polaroid form. So these are not real Polaroids, they're just ones that I printed out using a template on photo paper. So they've still got the shine of a Polaroid, and you can't really tell when they're in the scrapbook, to be honest. And I basically used a template from another YouTuber who I watched doing her scrapbook. She has the link in her description, so I will link her video down below and I'll show it on screen now. But she basically made a template of the exact dimensions of a Polaroid, so it looks as realistic as possible. So as you can see here, this is the document that she left on Google Docs, and anyone can access it, so I will leave the link down below. And I basically exported this into Word and then copy and pasted my photos onto the Word document and just cropped them down so they were the right size, and then printed those off on photo paper and cut them out. So the pages I'm currently working on finishing are the rest of the ones from Florida. So on the right hand side I'm just laying out the pictures where I want them to go. I spend quite a lot of time on like laying out my photos, because that is like a big factor, and I want everything to look as nice as possible. And then as you can see, I take a photo, the one that's going to be at the back, and I will put that face down on one of the white bits of paper, glue on the back of it so that if any glue gets around the outside, it goes on the paper rather than getting glue on your scrapbook, if that makes sense. And then with the other bit of paper, when I place my photo down, I just kind of press on top of it with the spare bit of clean paper. I just found that when I was using my fingers before, I could see like little fingerprints on the photo, so I just thought that this would be a good way to make sure that doesn't happen. So I just continue this process until all of my pages are done, and this is what the finished page looks like. So now moving on to the next double page. When we went on holiday to Florida, we basically went to 2 different places. So we stayed at Clearwater for a week, and then we went to Universal and stayed in the Hard Rock for a week and did all of the parks and stuff like that. So because I had so many photos, I decided I was going to have 2 double pages for Clearwater and then 2 double pages for the Hard Rock. So this is the second lot of my double pages for Clearwater. So again, I just start by having all my photos out in front of me and just kind of playing around with the layout. This took me a long time to decide what to have and where to have it, and just what would look best visually. I kind of went for a bit of a colour theme on this double page because I had a lot of photos from this one particular night where we took loads and loads of photos out on the terrace, like the balcony bit by the pool, and it kind of had like a pink background. So I thought that I would put all of the photos from that night on here and I could make it kind of like a pink theme. So because I chose the colour pink to go with, I thought it would look quite nice doing a strip of washi tape. So I took some of the tape that I showed earlier, which is from Hobbycraft, and just put that down at the like edge of both of the double pages, and I feel like it just kind of tied everything together. So once I was happy with where everything was going to go and I decided like a final layout, that's when I started sticking everything down. So again, taking the photo that is going to be at the back of the collage type thing first and doing the gluing in the same way as what I did before, and then I would glue all of the ones on top of that. So I was left with a bit of space around one of the pictures, so I decided to write a little bit about this holiday, just because it's a really nice memory to then look back on. I wrote who I went with and what time of year we went and what we did while we were there and stuff. So I just think that adds a little bit more something to it, and it makes it even nicer to look back on. So this is what the double page spread looked like. So these are both of the Clearwater pages from my holiday in Florida. So then I moved on to putting together my photos for the Hard Rock, which was the second place we went on our holiday. So I kind of just start by laying out all of the photos that I had, and I know there is a lot. It is very overwhelming. I ordered way too many photos. So I kind of collect them into piles, and I'll make a pile of the ones that I definitely want to include, and then some of the ones that I like the photos but they're maybe not my absolute favourites, I decided that I was going to print off in the Polaroid form instead, so they were a bit smaller and took up less space. So this is just an example of one of the photos that I then printed off smaller as a Polaroid, because I like the photo but it's not one of my favourites, so I don't really care that much if it's one of the bigger ones or not. So as you can see here, this is the Polaroid. So once I've cut down the photos that I want to include, that's when I start playing around with the layout again. This definitely takes the most time, but I think it's really worth spending a lot of time figuring out where you want your photos to go, because once they're glued in, that's it. It's not very easy to take them out. So I would recommend spending quite a lot of time like playing around with the layouts, putting things over other things, under, like putting little Polaroids in, just deciding the best layout for your pages, because it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth getting it right the first time. And then once I have decided where I want all my photos to go, that is when I will start sticking them in. I also decided to print out a little logo of the Hard Rock Cafe and stick that in as well, just because then it really stands out and we remember where we stayed, and I just thought it added just a little something different to it rather than it just being photos. And then using one of these silver pens, I wrote Universal because that's where we went to the parks, and this is the overall finished page. I also wrote Harry Potter in the same silver pen, and I also did the second double page off camera, so just the same kind of process, use the pens to add some details, and then I also wrote a little paragraph about Hard Rock Cafe and just overall about our holiday. So if you did enjoy this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be sure to make more scrapbook videos in the future, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!